start to see some comments coming in once it's live. And then you can click on watch party if you see that.
Okay, let me just. Oh no, there's this thing that's blocking my.
Okay, it looks like we are live. Let me see whether our audiences are coming in. Okay, I can see 7 people watching us. Hi everyone. Can you all hear us? If you can hear us,
Hi everybody.
Please type what is the business we are going to talk about today. If you guys know. Hi Yuksan. Wow, I'm seeing you every day, man, Yuksan. Okay, great.
Okay, now I see 33 people.
On your do you click watch party on your? Okay, so for those guys who are here, if you can help us share this, it's a new show we are doing. It's called Pivot, talking about how really businesses can pivot in a very fluid and dynamic environment. It's very important to pivot. If you can hear us, please type pivot. Pivot. Do you know how to spell pivot? I'm just worried someone typed something weird. Okay, so okay, and have you shared this already, Felicia? Just to check. I'll be monitoring some of the comments up here, and we have here.
No, I can't. Okay, watch live. Let me just click watch live.
Right.
Oh, I cannot click watch party though.
Oh, okay.
I can only click watch live. There is no, I can't share it.
Okay, great. So, okay, for those who are still very young, let me just, very old or whatever, not very. Have you shared this already? Not very sure how to use this, correct? Let me just show you how to do this. Okay, so same thing for all those. Oops. Let me just off the sound. Okay, great. So this is a new show, and before we get started, let me just show you guys. You can click on share. Can you see this button here called share? And there's a watch party. Come on, man. You look much younger than me, so I'm gonna click watch party. Okay, great. Now, okay, welcome everyone. Today we're gonna talk about Netflix. Is everyone here? Yes, okay, I can see everyone hearing us. Pivot.
In my timeline.
Yes. Are you sharing this already? So now
I just shared it to my timeline. Yeah, but I cannot click the watch party still.
Okay, no problem. Okay. Just share it to our timeline. And while everyone is coming in here, we have here today Felicia. She is a business strategist. And what this means is basically she strategizes business, and I know she looks super young because she is young, but she has a lot more business experience than a lot of people. And I'll just get her to introduce a bit about herself, and we will dive straight into this very interesting company called Netflix. Before we begin, for those who are on the show, can you please type whether you are a Netflix subscriber? If you are, please type SUB subscriber. If you are not, please type X, meaning to say you are not a subscriber yet. And Felicia, are you a subscriber yet?
Yes, I am a subscriber.
Okay, please share me some of the nice shows recently that you're watching as well. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just. Oops. Hang on. Okay, started at the wrong slide. No problem. Let's go ahead and do this right now. Felicia, share with us something about yourself. Like, how many years of experience do you have, and why are you the business strategist?
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Felicia. Very, very nice to meet all of you. Now, before I introduce myself, I just want to say, Sean, thank you for this opportunity. I'm so privileged to be hosting this new series together with you. We all know that you are the real investment and business guru, right? You've set up multiple $1 million businesses. You are so experienced. So thank you for this opportunity. And to everyone, this is super new to me. This is the first time that I'm speaking to an audience that I don't see your face. So, before that, can you type hello just to let me know that I'm speaking to human beings? Can you type hello in the chat?
How old are you, Felicia? You sound like a dinosaur, you see. So this is something new to you. Okay, anyway.
Okay, wait.
There will be a certain time lag, Felicia, just let you know in case.
Okay, cool. Yep, then no worries. Yeah, because I don't see anything in my chat, but it's okay. Yeah, so just a little background on myself. I've had slightly more than 7 years of experience in business strategy. And the thing is, what is business strategist?
Right.
What is business strategy, right? The question is, what is business strategy? If you guys have an idea on what strategy is, can you just type it in the chat? Because this word, is used so loosely. We're talking about marketing strategy. We talk about business strategy. Oh, I need a strategy for this and that. But what really is a strategy?
Yes.
Right? You can just type your thoughts. So if you can just go to the next slide.
Yes. Okay. So they are saying hello to you as well from hi Joshua, hi Sherman, hi Kelvin. Many people saying hello to you. So yes,
Okay.
enlighten us.
Hello. Okay, great. Yeah, okay. So, what I do in business strategy is basically, I mean, a business strategy is basically a plan to achieve well-defined objectives that bring a great idea to a successful business. So across the 7 over years, I've worked in the regional and global business strategy functions. So I work with executional level professionals all the way to C-suite, so the CEOs, the COOs, chief marketing officers, chief digital transformation officers, in order to transform their business and take it to the next level. So I typically work with very large MNCs, the Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies. These are multi-billion dollar companies to craft their business strategies. I know it is still a bit broad, so I've been thinking about how to explain business strategy in a way that is easy to understand. And Sean, if you can move on to the next slide.
Sure. Okay. While moving on, right, there are some responses here. So, like Desmond is saying, a strategy is like a plan of attack in business. Joshua says, is it change and process management related? So there are different ideas of what a strategy is. But I think these are pretty good answers because like a plan of attack where you want to meet your objective, or you need a process as well to change the objective. I mean, to meet the objective, right?
Exactly. Yeah, cool. Thanks for responding, guys. So, a business strategy in the simplest way that I can explain to you is like building a house. When you build a house, you need a roof, you need the pillars, and then you need foundations, right? Without a solid strategy, without a solid business strategy, it's as though you're trying to build a house either without a roof, without a pillar, or without foundations. And I will break each of this down for you. Now, what is a vision, which is a roof, right? It's an overarching goal that you have that tells you who are the customers you are serving, what is the need that you're serving, why are you serving them? The why is so important, and where. Is it a particular country? Is it a particular channel? So your vision should answer these 4 W's: who, what, why, and where.
Right.
Underneath that vision, you should have goals, which tells you, okay, so once you know what is the problem that you are solving, where you're solving it, for which customer you're solving, you should have goals, right? If today your business, if you are a business owner and you do not have goals that measure success, that tell you what success is, then you really need to sharpen your strategy. So typically these goals are KPIs, right? They tell you either you want to hit volume sales or value sales or certain penetration in a market, certain market share, so on and so forth. And it goes by a timeline. So typically what we do in MNCs, right? We have 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. But because it's very long, in between, we have what we call the glide path. So every year on year, we have different metrics that is broken down to say, where is this growth going to come from? What are the key drivers that is going to help you hit your KPI? And every half yearly, we have a strategy refresh. And then every year we have a big strategy refresh. So that's how it works, in a large organization.
Do you think Do you think it's relevant for smaller organizations and startups? Like, is this applicable? Because this sounds very intensive. But let's say I'm just starting up my bakery shop or my flower shop. Okay, when I say all these examples, please forgive me. I'm not saying that these are meant to be small, but I'm just thinking of something relatable to someone. So I'm starting my online course. Do I still need this a vision and goals? Do you think it's applicable?
Yes, definitely still applicable. If let's say you're in education, my question to you is, why do you want to educate? Who are you educating? You can educate on 101 things. You can educate on baking. You can educate on investments. You can educate on what we are doing right now, business strategy, right? There's so many things that you can educate on. But the question is, who are you educating? In what area are you educating? Why are you educating them? Is this a need that you're seeing? Let's say we know that digitalization, right, is really an area that is bringing us, pushing us forward. So why? The question is why? Are you seeing that there is a trend that's going? Where? Is the audience Singapore? I mean, Singaporeans. Is the audience Southeast Asia, so on and so forth. So it's very applicable. For the goals, right, though, for smaller companies, I believe that the goals do not need to be so super long term, 5 years, 10 years. It's good to have that kind of vision where you want to be. And later we will talk about how Netflix actually started so small, and it's because of their 5-10 year moving forward vision that got them where they are. But having said that, we always start small. We always start small. So let's say in 2 years' time, where do you want to be? What are your KPIs? Do you want to hit certain sales? Do you want to hit certain number of students if you're in the education business?
Right.
Do you want to see some kind of results that is coming out from your students who are learning from you? This kind of different goals.
Great.
So thank you for that question, Sean.
Great.
So this vision and your goals, right? And then we go into the proposition. Now, this proposition is super important because if you have a vision and you have your goals, but if you don't know how to position yourself, right? If you don't know who your competitors are in the arena, where they are playing, and where you can craft out a specific niche or a specific positioning for yourself in a way that the customer can relate with you and understand what you're offering them, then it will be very challenging. So this proposition is super important.
Is it something like why are we special? Is it like, for example, maybe later we go into Netflix and you can tell us what is Netflix vision, what is their goals, and the proposition portion is the part where you start to go into the tactics of the strategy. Like, for example, when we play a chess game, our goal is to crush the other guy over the other side, right? Or our vision is to crush him. In a certain minute, we must eat up all his chess pieces. And what is the next move? Is that what you're saying? Like a certain way to actually maneuver forward so that you overcome that person.
Exactly. You said it very, very well. And I think we are going to see this, on how Netflix actually maneuvered and pivoted their business model multiple times. To position their product in a way that the customers need. That is relevant for the customers' needs. And then, of course, underlying this position, you cannot do without your supporting functions, right? Finance is extremely important. You need accounting, right? You need to know where your money is going, how your money is flowing in, when it's flowing in. Super important. Second one is technology. Now we are also using technology, right? We are using Facebook Live, YouTube. Increasingly businesses are going online using analytics, using data. So supporting functions, finance and technology is super important. Another one, which is operations, especially if you are in a business that is delivering goods. Operations is very important. You're talking about manufacturing, you're talking about packaging, you're talking about the whole production process, and then the supply chain. How do you deliver and place your products in front of people? Right, the whole supply chain is super important. HR is also very important.
I just want to pause a moment, Felicia.
Sure.
I think you're scaring all of us. okay. The reason,
too much information.
No. It's like this. Okay, because let's say, okay, I know because she has been handling like those Fortune 500, those big MNCs, and a lot of times they have all this in place already. But very interesting when we go and take a look at Netflix or many startup companies, right? We always typically, yes, we need all these function, and usually all these function is covered by 1 or 2 person. The founder is the CEO, is the finance person, is the tech person, is the HR person, and every single thing. But of course, when we are starting, we do not have. I still remember when I first started out, I think it was in 2015, right? I did everything. Actually, someone promised me to do the marketing portion. So I said, okay, I can do certain portions. He will do the marketing. Then I realized I need to learn how to do technology. I need to learn how to use Facebook, all the PowerPoint slides, everything. I need to learn how to actually do the operations, set up events. So initially, I was pretty much on the ground. I remember I had 2% help me. My Avengers, my first few Avengers. One of them is still with me. Winnie is like, she actually took on all the other roles that I cannot do. And that's where you start to build your team. But initially, the first probably 100 days, first 3 months, where you don't have a lot of capital to start with, you're going to do everything yourself. But it's important to take note. Even if you're starting yourself, you need to take note of all these functions. Otherwise, they will start to crack. And if you can't do it, make sure you get some help. You can outsource or you can find someone else. So
absolutely.
Right. So
absolutely, yeah. Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah. So I just which is you again? No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah. So I think what Sean said is very, very true. Definitely, because I myself, I've co-founded a corporate startup before. You can see those 3 circles, right? The middle one is me. Yeah, those 2 are my co-founders. We co-founded a corporate startup worth 35 million, in my previous company. And
okay, guys.
it is
So
so
listen
true.
to this carefully. Yeah. So she actually created a startup that's worth 35 million euros. So in case you all think that she's very young, she is young. Sorry, she is young. It's just that
I'm pretty
basically,
young.
yeah. Basically, before 30s, she already started up something
No,
that's
yeah, correct.
before right. This happened before 30s, and it started up 35 million. Sorry, 35 million.
Million.
If you all hear that correctly, can you all please type 35 million euro, which is actually multiply about 2 times 2 point something of Singapore dollars, which is about 70 million worth in Sing dollars. So this is the credibility she has. And what was the startup about? Can you share with us?
Yep. So the startup was looking at the area of healthy snacking.
Right.
It was the problem area. Once again, I was saying, who are we solving for? I mean, who are we serving? What are we solving for?
Right.
Basically, it's in the area of healthy snacking in the daytime, because in Europe, typically the non-winter season, um, parents bring their children out in the time frame of 3 to 5 p.m. or 5 to 6 p.m. And this is the time where parents give their children snacks, but
Right.
there is always this push and pull, this tug of war between what is healthy and what is tasty for the child.
Okay, Felicia,
Combined,
before you go in too deep, right? Because I want to leave this for a particular show where you
yeah,
go into your
can,
how you created a 35 million dollar euro company. So
yeah,
let's do a cliffhanger right here. A cliffhanger for
can,
our
good,
audiences. They are all interested in 35 million dollar euro story. We will
yeah,
jump into the next show, so make sure you just follow us on this show called Pivot. She will share with you
great.
how she pivoted into a 35 million dollar euro company, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are interested. Even if you learn and you get 10% of it, it will be $7 million USD, Sing dollars. So let's leave it there for a moment and let's go straight into Netflix because we want to actually make people excited about your particular story. Shall we do that?
Yes, let's
So
do
sorry,
it.
sorry for cutting you here and there. Cool. I think you
No
have,
worries,
yeah.
no worries.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so basically, right, the reason why we put over here, 70% of successful businesses that IPO, that were sold at high valuations, they did not start with a business plan. It's just to tell us, they did not start with a business plan, but they started with an authentic vision.
Right.
This was a study that was created by Harvard Business School, Harvard Business Review, and that is why, previously in the strategy house, you see vision as the roof. It's super important. There is this quote that says, many roads lead to Rome. So Rome is your vision, but there are many roads that lead there. So as long as you have a clear vision and clarity of purpose, why you are doing what you are doing, then you are able to succeed. Just to give an example, okay, and this is to Netflix, because we are studying Netflix today. Netflix corporate vision, right, today is to continue being one of the leading firms of the internet entertainment era.
Mm-hmm.
That is as broad as it is. To continue being one of the leading firms of the internet entertainment era. So as long as you're in entertainment, as long as it's the entertainment space, they want to play, they want to lead. And how they get there, they really pivot along the times, and we are going to go into it.
Right. And I just want to say that good news for everybody. You have to start with a vision. Can you please type vision? So the thing is this: once you have a vision, that is where your business can get started. You don't need an elaborate business plan. You don't need to have all the pieces of the house, but at least start with the roof, and that's where you can shelter yourself from the rain. And I just want to share something that I think the way that you craft a vision is very important. Let me give you an example that I personally learned in a business school, which I just thought of it as Felicia reminded me. Now, do you know the vision of Apple when they competed with Microsoft? The vision of Apple was to create the best software at a point in time, to create the best software. And interestingly, when you actually look at the reviews of all the different softwares, Apple's software was actually rated the best, number one. But they couldn't beat Microsoft because Microsoft vision is a bit different. And of course, subsequently they became different businesses, but Microsoft's vision was very scary. Let me tell you what's the vision. The vision is that every single household in the world uses Microsoft. They never aim to be the best. They never aim to have the most fanciful software, but they aim for every single household in the world uses Microsoft. And we are living in the vision of Bill Gates right now. We are also living in the vision of Reed Hastings right now, which is the founder of Netflix. Very powerful. start with a vision. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's amazing. Let's go into. Let's bring us back to the past. Okay, this is very funny, Felicia. When I saw this particular slide, tell us more about this.
Yeah, no, it's just bringing us back to the past, right? Where, I mean, if anyone remembers cassette tapes, well, I lived in the era where there was cassette tapes, we didn't use CDs yet, right? So I'm not that super young, young but not that young, right? There's cassette tapes, and then eventually moving on to CDs. If you remember this, if you belong to this era where you've seen cassette tapes, and you know what cassette tapes are, can you type me, in the chat?
Nobody will type, you see, because this is going to like admit that they are not very young. Right.
Yeah, and moving on.
Okay, I added this particular picture because I was wondering, have you seen this before, Felicia?
Which one?
I mean, this picture, the VHS thingy. Do you recognize this?
Yes, of
Oh,
course.
you do. Okay, cool. So this was actually how Netflix got started in that sense, where this was actually based in back then. How many of you recognize this? If you recognize this, please type VHS. If you spell it wrongly, it means that you are not from our era. But I remember back then, my mother used to actually rent videotapes to watch all the Cantonese Hong Kong movie. Were you in that era?
Cantonese, yeah, of course.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So share with us, what's the story of Netflix? How did it all get started?
Yeah, so maybe to the next slide, right?
Right, is it this one?
The next one.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, so just to paint you guys the broader picture, Netflix is really a company that is, I mean, it's really one of the most this is a very, very inspirational example, of a company that has shifted its business model multiple times and grew exponentially. Before I talk about the customer pain points, just to give you guys an idea of how large they have grown, okay? So 1999, when they first started, in 1 year, they gained 240,000 subscribers in the first year.
Right.
And then they went on to build a customer base of 1 million subscribers by 2003. That means they quadrupled the base in 4 years. And then further on today, they are serving 180 million subscribers, which is 1/3 or 1/4 of the US population, generating 20 billion USD a year. And this just started with a very small idea of solving a customer's pain point. Okay, so you see in the past, I mean, in the past when home entertainment was booming, it used to be that they rent out tapes, and then later it moved into CDs and then DVDs. So for Reed Hastings and Mark Rudolph, they saw they had this pain point. They're like, I've rented tapes. I've rented CDs, and I feel very lazy, or I forget, or I'm just too busy to return them. And then video rental stores, they're charging customers high fees for late returns. So they saw this as an opportunity to do things differently and to rent out DVDs by mail instead. That was in 1998, right? So they rented out by mail to cut down the inconvenience of people having to travel back to the video rental store. So it was as simple as that, solving a very simple customer problem. So we can move on.
Right. So this is the founder, the Reed Hastings guy. So I don't know how many of you got fined for late fees before. For me, I got late fees for my library books. I remember, I actually borrowed DVDs in the past. I forgot 1 or 2 days late. You have to pay a late fee. If you have gotten late fees before, can you please type late fees? Now, after you type late fees, right, I just want you to pause for a moment and think about this. This particular guy, okay, there was an urban legend saying that he was triggered by a late fee. He forgot to, or he was late in actually returning his DVDs, and he was a bit upset because he had to pay $40 late fee, which is a lot. I don't know how come it's $40. And at the point in time, he said, this is terrible. It's like he feel a certain anger. So a lot of us, we pay late fee, we feel angry also, correct? I think we feel a bit upset, right? And then that's it. We just move on with life. For him, he was thinking that how many of people are feeling equally upset as me? And that's where the birth of Netflix started. It was amazing, just because of the late fee. And that's why you're watching Netflix now. Right.
Exactly. And this two founders, right? They had such foresight. at that period of time, because it was cassette tapes and then going into CDs and then going into DVDs, right? Only 2% of the US population had DVD players. But they foresaw into the future, and they calculated, of course, and this is where further along down the road as we journey along in this series, I'm going to teach you guys how to calculate your size of prize, meaning that how much percent of your base you need to capture in order to make sense for your business. So for Reed Hastings and for Mark Rudolph, they realized that at that point there was only 2% penetration in DVD players ownership.
Right.
But they said that, okay, as long as I can hit 20%, 20%, as long as it grows to 20%, we will be super fine. We will be doing super well. And they took a bet. They had that foresight. And true enough, it came to a point when 95% of households had DVD players.
Right.
So it was really their business acumen and their foresight into the future that let them take this leap of faith into doing their first pivot of their business model. So just now you remember we were saying DVD rentals, it was offline, but then now they changed it to a subscription model.
Right.
Meaning what? Because they foresaw that the future is that more and more households are going to have DVD players. More and more people will want to come on this recurring basis.
That's right.
People want to rent DVDs online for a fixed fee per month.
Right.
So this is the first time where they pivoted their business model into one-off renting, from one-off renting into a subscription model where customers can just pay a fixed fee every month to just rent DVD.
And by the way,
was the first...
it's a pretty huge risk, I mean, think about it. For example, let's say I'm Reed Hastings and Felicia is Mark Rudolph, or the other way around. We are thinking, hey, okay, now we are actually renting DVD. Okay, what does it mean by DVD rental? For us, what we did initially, after we got a late fee, we were so upset. I say, hey, Mark, it's like Mark Rudolph, right? Hey, Mark, it's like I'm so upset with this whole entire Blockbuster. I rented a tape, and when I return, I have to pay $40. This is crazy. Now, I think a lot of people are facing this problem. How about this? We make sure nobody ever pay late fee again. We solve a customer problem, right? And we say, what we do now is we help them collect the DVD for them, or we actually send the DVD to them and let them return it easily. So that's where we stop the late fee problem. So one problem solved. After a few, I think it's within 2 years, correct? Within 2 years, from 1998 to I think it was 2000, we actually sat down together again and said, hey, after talking to so much customer, I realized they are very on the ground. They know their customers. And they say that a lot of customers, they are asking us what's the next show. It's very interesting. When I actually collected the DVD from these customers, they were asking me, hey, what shows will you recommend? And that's where ideas spark out. They say, wow, a lot of customers, they are always looking for the next show. How about we create a subscription model where we can actually allow them to choose unlimited shows, but of course, they don't go and take 100 DVDs at one time. But if we collect enough subscribers every single month, we don't need new customers that much. We have a recurring model. And that's where we continue to send DVD to them. But we need a certain number of subscribers before we can actually become profitable. Maybe we need about 200,000. And within that first year, we actually hit 100 over 1,000. You mentioned that, correct? How many? No,
they 240 in the first year.
They hit 250,000 in 240. And wow, within the first year, they collected streams of income. But every single DVD, you must understand that we are getting is not our DVD. We actually do have to buy the DVD. There's licensing issues. So we need a certain number to do it. But let's do it anyway. Because once we have millions of subscribers, we are going to be super wealthy, and they are going to pay for the fixed cost, which is the licensing, and we are going to actually make a lot of money. So let's do it. Let's pivot. This is also about taking some risk, right? So oh yeah, you wanted to say something about Blockbuster. I saw this picture over here. Very, very interesting picture. Very nostalgic. Already gone. All right.
Yeah. So the thing about
Blockbuster.
The thing about business strategy is that you cannot just be focusing on what you're doing. You have to know what your competitors are also doing. If you do not have a sense of what your competitors are offering, what they are doing, then you are going to be outrun and beaten by them.
Right.
Okay. So for Netflix at that point in time, Blockbuster was a global chain of video stores, where customers could go and rent their videos in the store, and that was their biggest competitor. And because Netflix, right? I mean, in a year they had 240,000 subscribers. They got very arrogant, so they kind of lost sight of what their competitors were doing, and then they suffer a big blow. And I think, Sean, you had some stories over here to share as well.
Oh, it was very interesting. This is actually about business strategy. What happened was back then, Blockbuster, they were laughing at Netflix. In fact, anybody who actually read the Netflix and Blockbuster story, right, they will always know this guy called John Antiaco. He was the CEO of Blockbuster then. Okay, anyone knows what is Blockbuster? If you know what Blockbuster is doing, or you have seen Blockbuster before, can you please type BB, Blockbuster for BB? Now, they are basically DVD renters. They rented VHS initially, then they rented DVDs. It is not just a place where you rent DVDs. It is actually a very communal place. And a lot of people were renting DVDs, and this was the CEO back then. He's famous for being the so-called the idiot. Really, people actually call him a moron. People call him an idiot, the idiot guy who runs Blockbuster down into the ruins. But actually, there's a lot of story behind it, and we were mentioning, correct, the winner writes the history. So
Yeah.
Reed Hastings can say anything he wants about John Antiaco back then, now. But John Antiaco, right, when he saw Netflix, right, he didn't really ignore them. The story was like he actually made fun of Reed Hastings and stuff. He didn't do that, because how do I know he didn't actually make fun of Reed Hastings? Is because he launched something. Okay, so this is the very famous headline. Blockbuster could have bought Netflix for 50 million, but the CEO thought it was a joke. So John Antiaco. So this is Reed Hastings. He's laughing right now, and basically they say that Blockbuster was arrogant. At that point in time, Blockbuster saw Netflix actually doing this subscription model. They actually recognize it. How do we know they recognize it? Is because they created a website that was exactly like Netflix. They launched this thing called Blockbuster Total Access. Many people couldn't remember this website because it wasn't international, and because DVD was actually mainly in US at that point in time. And what happened was this. So John Antiaco, right, he had a foresight. He said that we are not going to buy Netflix for 50 million. We are going to kill them. He wanted to kill Netflix. And this is a story that is very interesting. He actually did this. He said that Netflix has a proof of concept. Meaning to say, people now, they are willing to pay for subscription. What we're going to do is we're going to kill Netflix. And how are we going to kill Netflix? Is because we got a lot more movies than them. Netflix only had about 900 movies, which is actually pretty much. But Blockbuster had, I think, at least 5 or 10 times more than them. They launched a Blockbuster Total Access. By the way, Netflix is not like today. Today you can actually stream Netflix movies and stuff like that. In the past was just which DVD I want, I click, and then they will send it to me. But I need to pay a subscription. So Blockbuster launched something exactly the same and launched it cheaper, and they were killing Netflix. They actually did kill Netflix. So when Netflix came and said, please, will you actually buy us over for 50 million? They were laughing at them because they know that I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. And it was so bad, right, that Netflix, this is a story that a lot of people didn't know. Reed Hastings actually went to Blockbuster and begged them. And he said, can we do this? If you're not going to buy me, can I buy you? Actually, Netflix did offer to buy Blockbuster. And he said, I'm not going to buy Blockbuster. I'm going to buy Total Access, which is this website. He said, just sell me this website. Because if you don't sell me this website, both of us, we are going to die. The truth is, every single DVD that Blockbuster rented out, they were losing money because it cost them. But they have cash, so they were not very worried. But the truth is, their cash, the problem lies here. Their cash was actually funded by this guy. I don't know anyone can recognize this person. He's a very famous investor. Anybody can recognize this person. This person is called Carl Icahn. So he's actually almost as famous as Warren Buffett. But Carl Icahn, he actually bought into Blockbuster. He was the majority shareholder. He pumped in money, and he agreed that he wanted to kill Netflix. But however, he had a very bad problem with John Antiaco, the CEO. So it was back then, right, when John Antiaco, he went to Carl Icahn and say, Netflix is asking us to buy them, let's ignore them. Netflix is actually asking us to actually to buy Total Access. He said, no, let's kill them. And Carl Icahn always pressured John Antiaco. So the chairman is pressuring the CEO and say, hey, you have been fighting Netflix for so long. They are such a small thing. Let's crush them quickly. And why are you not making money? So imagine now you're running a business and there's this guy keep nagging you. It's like when you're trying to do your homework but your mother is nagging you. Okay, very, very lousy analogy. But it's so difficult, especially if you are someone who's already motivated to want to kill them. So in the end, right, it was very sad. I find that it's a very sad story, because Blockbuster, they were actually killing Netflix, but there was one particular year, I think it was in 2008 or 2010, where the financial crisis happened. Carl Icahn cut the pay of John Antioco. He told the CEO, "You're going to get half the bonus that we promised you." And the thing is this, actually, at that point in time, if you are CEO of a big listed company, right, I realize this as I read a lot of stories of CEOs and big chairmen, right, they are not interested in money anymore, but they are interested. They are very interested in their pride. So if you are going to cut my bonus, if you ask me nicely, I will give it to you. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is this, instead of 7 million, they say you're going to get 3.5 million because you are doing such a bad job. So his pride was hurt. And the worst thing that happened is, right, when he returned to his office, there was a check on his table for 2 million. Now, a lot of you all think, hey, 2 million not bad, right? But he just felt betrayed. He said that you told me 3.5 million and now you throw me 2 million. You think I'm a dog or what? So he didn't actually say that. I'm just imagining that he was actually very disappointed, and he went back and he gave Carl Icahn a call and say, how about this? Let's talk about my severance package. Tell me, if I'm going to retire now, how much can I get? And he just took the money and he given up on the fact that Blockbuster is such a difficult business to run anymore, because Carl Icahn was breathing down his neck. And eventually there was a new CEO called James Key, and this guy was, again, I can tell you, in business, pride is such an expensive thing. It's very expensive, because James Key was anti Antioco. Antioco was the CEO, and James Key always fought with him. And because once Antioco left, right, as the new CEO, this guy was so prideful. He actually say whatever Antioco was doing, which is the website, correct, Total Access, he say, let's scrape it. I'm going to pump very little money there. In other words, he's telling the company, let's scrape this stupid business. Let's scrape this idea that the previous CEO have. Let's take the new idea. And then he actually let Total Access, which is the one that actually was killing Netflix, right? He let it go down to waste. And before you know it, right, Blockbuster actually declared bankrupt. And Reed Hastings, you can see here, he revealed that when the Blockbuster went bankrupt, right, it was the greatest day of his life. At last he could breathe. But if there wasn't so much internal conflict in Blockbuster, you may not see the Netflix you see today. So in the whole entire strategy, sometimes you mentioned correctly, Felicia, you cannot just play your own chess game. You got to look at your opponents. Very interesting story. So I felt very sad for Blockbuster and also the CEO, because I felt he was very misunderstood. But well, life goes on. The winner writes the history, and they laugh at Blockbuster right now. Sorry, I'm going too much in depth. I'm not sure how many of you learned something. If you learned something, can you please type pride? Pride. Pride is very expensive. Being arrogant. Okay, actually not so much of pride. You can have pride, but don't be arrogant. Yeah.
Wow, thanks for sharing, Sean. I think it's very true. Moving forward, over this series that we're going to do, I think we're also going to cover companies that probably got into some trouble. And I think as you say, pride and not staying up to date with what it is, I think it's going to cost you a lot. So
right.
So this is it's really a great lesson. Now, on the contrast, right, the founders of Netflix, Reed Hastings and Mark Rudolph, they were constantly trying to search out what the next thing is. They constantly had that foresight. They were humble in learning. They were so hungry, right, to deliver something that the customers really want. They want to understand what is the next thing. So looking 5 to 10 years ahead, it came in 2007. So that was 8 years after they started their business. They went through their data and through their business acumen and just observation. They realized that the DVD rental business was no longer profitable. And they realized that consumer preference was shifting. What were they shifting to? People didn't want to rent anymore. People, even if it's subscription, people don't want to be renting those DVDs. They want it to be user-friendly. They want a large variety of offerings, and they want it to be super hassle-free without the need to return videos. So what was this observation of the shift in consumer preference, coupled with what they were seeing in the larger business landscape, in the larger economy, where there's an advent of tech, right? People were owning mobile devices, laptops. It was all this multi-device and connections. They saw that. They saw another up and rising
next wave, correct.
driver, which is anytime, anywhere. You know, people are so busy, they're on the go. They want to connect anytime, anywhere. They want it now. They want it at their own pace. So all these things, they piece it together. And then next slide,
Right.
next slide. They pivoted. This is their second pivot. So in less than 10 years of their business, they pivoted twice. So they moved from DVD rental subscription to now on-demand movies and TV series, because through once again, you know, through the data that they had and through this understanding of what's happening in the landscape, they said no more DVD subscription. We are going to rent online content, you know, on-demand movies and TV series. And this was the time, you know, where they blindsided Time Warners to sell Netflix the rights to many of their shows.
That's right.
They publicly claimed, right, that Netflix is a complement. You know, I'm not a competitor to you. You are cable TV, you know, but but I'm here, you know, just on demand movies, and we are targeting different people. So this is where they pivoted into a whole new arena where, you know, as a customer, I'm suddenly like, whoa, you know, I have access to this hundreds of movies and hundreds of TV content, and I can just binge watch to my heart's content and just sit on my sofa. I don't have to return DVDs anymore, you know, and I can just do and watch this anytime, anywhere, no time pressure.
And they may be they may be responsible for being increasing the obesity rate, because like now I mean, usually last time when I was much younger, we will have a certain time, like 8 p.m. we will sit down with family to watch this, and between 8 p.m. and now interesting to watch and we don't watch. But now you can sit down there, watch the TV whole day. Interestingly speaking, right, actually, you know they launched this way before their time. If you remember 2007 2008, they launched their streaming videos. But back then, I do not know whether you guys can remember, 2007 2008, the internet was not excellent. It wasn't excellent. They were taking on a huge risk. They were actually, people are not used to watching things on the internet yet at that point in time. I mean, we were just starting. Actually, way before that, they already have this idea already. So it's another risk taking, you know. They always see a vision and they go and create it into it. And by then, right, in 2007, they actually celebrated their 1 billion DVD delivery. It's quite interesting. And then after they celebrated 1 billion, they actually say, okay, now we are focusing online, and they stream online. It was so interesting.
Yeah. And I think a very important lesson, and also for you guys who want to start businesses or you own businesses, right? Being not afraid to cannibalize your own business model is a super key lesson. You rather cannibalize and disrupt from the inside than to allow a competitor to disrupt your business model. Because if Reed Hastings and Mark Rudolph didn't go this track, sooner or later there was going to be a disruptor, the likes of a Blockbuster or whatever, you know. I mean, Blockbuster was dead by then, right? But the likes of a competitor is anyway going to come in and kill them, you know. So in whatever area that you are running your business in, right, you just think, what is it that, you know, what is your riskiest business assumption that you are running on to say that your business model still works? And what is a possible area that a new entrant can come and kill your business in? If you're able to think about that, then I think it's time for you to also start planning that path towards cannibalizing your own business model.
Correct. Please type the word cannibalize, correct? Because you have to be your greatest competitor. I think that one is very important, right?
Yeah. Okay. So then that another 6 years later, so 2007 they pivoted to on-demand movie, right? And then 6 years later, and this is where it was, they changed their algorithm, you know. So from 2007 to 2007 onwards, they changed their algorithm to have deeper understanding of who their end customer is. So they moved on from the basic rating system, you know, do you like this video? Do you not like this video? Those kind of basic rating systems, number of views, you know, customer feedback, all these were basic. But they later evolved their algorithm to do deep customer analysis, and they understand what the customers want next. You know, so they were often 2-3 steps ahead, and they were able to predict that consumer demand. And therefore, in 2013, this is where they pivoted the third time. And so they pivoted 3 times, 14 years of launch. 3 times is quite a lot, you know. They pivoted from on-demand movies into delivering original content. And I think this is absolutely incredible because if you think about it, if you want to produce your own content, it means that you need to set up your production house. You have to buy not just all the logistical side, but you need the talent, you need the creativity, you need your script writers, your directors, you need the actors, you need to pay for licensing, you need to think about all these concepts. So there's so much that goes on behind it. And in 2013, they launched House of Cards.
Right.
How many of you know House of Cards? You can just type in the chat House of Cards, right?
Or HOC, yeah. House of Cards, HOC.
Yeah. HOC.
Yeah. So this was the part just now you actually mentioned they blindsided Time Warners. It is very interesting, Now you know the first time, right? I forgot to add this on, but another very interesting story is the first time when Blockbuster created the total access. Just now we were bringing back, right? Their first big enemy was Blockbuster. Okay, DVD rental, they were doing DVD rental also. They want subscription. So when Blockbuster created their total access, right, the one that almost killed Netflix, when it was created, right, Reed Hastings actually publicly told the press, because the journalist was asking, oh, what do you think of total access? He told them that I can create this simple website anywhere at a cafe or my laptop. He said such a lousy website. He laughed at them. And then told Blockbuster keep quiet and then slowly try to kill them. Now, years later, right, after Blockbuster was sort of went bankrupt, and Reed Hastings, he also learned his mistake. He realized that shouldn't be too arrogant. So he became much smarter. He realized he should control his mouth. And you know what happened to this House of Cards? Okay, let me share with you something. Very interesting. This was in 2012. You see, Reed Hastings understand one thing. He understands that his next big competitors, right, will be media companies. He knows that. But he cannot afford to offend them in any way now, because it's just like Blockbuster can kill him, right? He decided that this time he will keep quiet. And then when people ask him about it, right, he said, hey, will you actually become a media company? He said, no, I'm not a media company. I'm a complementary to the cable TVs. He's just smart. At that point in time, the cable TVs, they have all the shows, correct? Like I think like what I don't really watch much TV show. So he told them, he said that, you see, all these media company, they spend so much money to actually create all this media, and then they launch it. So they are making money. Netflix is a complementary. How is it a complementary? It's after they finish on TV, when it's a little bit outdated, we take all the older shows, we put it on Netflix, and people watch the old shows. So again, we are like a DVD renter. People like to watch movie first, correct? So they watch movie, and then we are like DVD renter. So they say we are complementary. You can see that. They actually mentioned that we are not trying to be a substitute for cable network. We are just a complementary. He keep mentioning that a lot of times. So he mentioned it so much so, right, that when he go and approach cable TV, like Time Warners, like even Disney, you realize on Netflix you can see Disney shows, correct? He approached them and said, hey guys, we are just complementary. Give us a licensing fees. Give us license. We will pay you licensing fee. We will pay you certain things. We'll pay you. So you earn extra money out of us. We just give you additional money only. We are not your competitors. He mentioned it over and over and over again. And while he actually collected money, doing Netflix, right, he was building up a pool, and he was nurturing his army of producers, his army of creative scriptwriters. And he told them this. He said that, hey guys, I know that in Hollywood, all the medias, they always tell you must do this, must do that. For me, there is no limits. I'm going to give you the budget. Tell me how much you need. I will just fund you. I'm not going to question you. It's very interesting. I think he also learned from how Carl Icahn actually breathed down the neck of John Antiaco. He realized when you actually go and breathe down the neck of a very talented people, right, they are going to leave. They cannot function. So that's where he didn't create the House of Cards. He actually funded the House of Cards, but he looked for many, many talents. And that's where he keep blindsiding them, telling them, hey, no problem, we are not a media company. And suddenly, overnight, he launched the House of Cards in 2013. Up to 2012, he keep telling them, no, we are not going to do anything, don't worry. And suddenly, when he launched, right, and by the way, he didn't just launch House of Cards. Along the pipeline, all the movies was getting ready. When he wants to attack, he's not going to attack with a small gun. He has his cannon, everything ready, and he wants to make sure that nobody can catch up with him. And that's where there's this art of war. He says that when you are strong, appear to be weak. Don't be too arrogant. And if you are weak, you have to appear to be strong. So it's playing a psychology as well. It is very, very cool. So yes. So House of Cards. Yeah. I think some are mentioning right now. Yep. So now you can see that even their international strategy, they are everywhere right now. Oh, you're muted, Felicia. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back on. Yeah, so I think, at this point, we have seen, right, in 14 years of their history from 1999 to 2013, they pivoted thrice. And right now at where they are, they are offering people affordable prices, accessibility anytime, anywhere, and original content that suits the taste and preference and the demand of consumers, and these three together, combined with technology, of course, it brought them to where they are. One quarter or one third of the entire US population actually are Netflix subscribers. I
Right.
think one third. It's one third, and it's super powerful. Um, I think this is really the power of pivoting. Once again, what is their vision, right? Their vision is to be the leading player in the international entertainment era, right? In this entertainment era, and how they did that, they pivoted from DVDs to subscription DVDs to on-demand movies, and then finally now creating their original content. I think Sean, we were just trying to discuss also what is the future
Yeah.
of
What is next?
Netflix,
What is next?
right? What is the future of Netflix? What are your thoughts?
I can tell you, I do not know, man. Okay, I mean, you mean what's the next pivot, right? So where's the next pivot of digital streaming? Now, initially they were fighting Blockbuster. Now they are fighting. Then they fight Time Warner and HBO. Now they are fighting Disney and also Amazon and also Hulu. Quite a number of competitors. So how do
Yes.
and every time there's someone who is fighting them, right?
And Apple TV,
Yeah, and Apple TV, which a lot of
yes,
people are
they are
giving
going
bad
to grow.
bad ratings. Okay, so what is next? I got no idea, but I do know they are in the entertainment space. What do you think? I can't imagine. What do you think will be next?
Okay, so I mean, when I look at I think there are a couple of ways that they can grow, right? They can either continue creating new content, which I believe at this point they do have a very strong algorithm to understand what's coming up next. So yes, they can continue to create new content, but I think this is going to be increasingly challenging as the competitors come in, and also because it's increasingly saturated in the US market, especially. It used to be when I was looking at their financials, right? When in 2015, US was contributing to two-thirds of their revenue and one-third was out of the US. At this current juncture, it has flipped. The US is only contributing one-third to the one-third of the revenues, and two-thirds is coming from Europe and Asia Pacific. So I think in the US market, it's going to be um, uh, quite saturated. But I think where the opportunity lies, and it has been driving their growth in triple digit growth, would be in Europe and Asia Pacific, especially when these markets are many, many years behind US, right? The consumer preference is slowly growing. There's globalization and internationalization, and the demand of this consumers
Streaming
in this
TV, right?
nascent
Yeah.
markets are slowly catching up with the US. And this is where I see that there's growth going to come, like market penetration. But where it's saturated already, I think they are really going into the next era of entertainment, which is like interactive narrative. They recently tried it with Black Mirror, where you can select, but of course, I mean, it backfired because it was too dark, right? It was too gory. But they are trying interactive narrative where you are able to personalize the content that you are watching to a point where you can pick and choose what is the ending you want, and then they create content to, as in you watch the show according to the content, according to the ending that you have picked. I think in future this is going to be it. We see it not just in entertainment, but we see it also in the FMCG industries and various industries where personalization right down to that single consumer is driving demand. So I think moving forward, interactive narrative. I can choose what characters I want to be played in the ending. I want to choose the ending. I want to be able to choose what is the twist, what is the plot, and I see how it plays out. This is one. The second is, I think in 2018, 2019, Obama actually had a partnership together with Netflix to produce a documentary on his philanthropic efforts and things like that. And I think increasingly, this kind of high what I call it, as in this kind of stakeholders, this kind of public figures, I think moving forward, they are going to just like Obama, partner with Netflix to push their agenda.
Mhm.
It can be whatever philanthropic agenda, political agenda, documentaries, whatever. I think that Netflix is really in a position because they already have such a wide customer base, right? They are so powerful, and anyone. What's that?
No, I'm just showing you some of their comments. Very funny. Okay, but please. Okay, maybe let's brainstorm together. What do you think will be the next
Yeah.
pivot? Let me read to you some of the interesting ones. While you're talking about
Sorry.
Obama influencers, one of them say that, oh, when COVID ends, they can go and buy airline cruises combined with okay, this is one thing. Yeah, can go and share this. But competitors can always copy the ideas unless it's patented. Yeah, that's right. Now, the thing about Netflix is they are very, very innovative. They move very fast. And actually, the competitors, right? When you talk about competitors copying them, thanks, Kelvin. Actually, years ago, right, Blockbuster, they send in spies, to Netflix. What happened is, right, because Netflix, they actually send people who looks like normal people, like aunties and all that, and they bring the DVD back to Netflix, and then they say, hey, I want to personally return this DVD. Can I go and take a look inside what is Netflix like? Because wow, I'm a big fan of Netflix. And they went inside there, they take pictures of all the how they sort out the DVD machines. They want to know how Netflix work. But the thing is, one thing they can never ever duplicate or copy. Actually, two things are. One is the algorithm. Now, I know algorithm is a very big word. Okay, so let me explain to you what I understand from algorithm. Because Netflix has been collecting data, correct? A lot of data. So let me give you an example, right? Example, this is Netflix financial statement. These are a lot of data. When we talk about algorithm, it's actually the questions behind the data. What questions are you asking yourself? So for example, just now I think Felicia also mentioned for Netflix, how much income are they getting? You can see income, we can see that it's growing very fast. And another additional question she asks is how much is from US, how much is globally? Now, why are these questions important? These questions actually helps you make better decision on whether. So one of the questions we want to ask is whether Netflix is investable, correct? So now the algorithm, the thinking behind, you can never copy. You can try to capture principles, but it's a chess game. Can you actually, interestingly, when you talk about chess, computers have already captured all the variables things, right? Correct. But in the business world, the variables are unlimited. In a chess game, it is limited, but not the business world. So again, sorry for interrupting. One key idea is Felicia mentioned that yes, you can choose the ending of Netflix. You can choose how the story spins. So what are your comments about this? Would you actually like to watch a Netflix movie where you can change or where you can choose the ending? If you think that is interesting, please type choose. Now, Felicia, while they are typing, whether they think that is interesting, if you can choose your ending, choose your character. Personally, this is my take. Okay, anyway, I want to say that I may be wrong. In fact, I've been wrong in a lot of things, but at least you must have a personal opinion, right? I think, right, people are too lazy. Sorry to say that. People are too lazy to choose. They say, if I want to choose myself, I go and make my own movies, yeah. Myself, I just play computer games. So you want to choose the ending, okay, will this lady character choose John to be the husband or James to be the husband? I think they can want to vote certain portions. So it's a fine thin line. I'm not too sure how this will plan out, but maybe who knows? Who knows? It will be quite interesting. Yep.
I think it's a good point, and also I think there are different kinds of consumers, right? Different kinds of viewers. One kind of viewer, they like to. I mean, they're so involved in a movie that they don't mind. As in that this interactive narrative really appeals to them. But there is another segment that likes the mystery behind it.
Yeah,
They will be
yeah.
thinking, what's the point of watching if I'm choosing the ending myself, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's anybody's guess, but if we look at history, right? TV has been around since like century. Is it a century? I mean, like decades and decades. So
As long as
TV
I
has been
remember.
around for
Yeah.
decades and decades. It us as human beings, right? We are created with the innate need for entertainment. And I think it's part of the soul, right? We are all, I mean, we are made up of different parts, and the soul requires that recreation. Soul requires that entertainment. And TV content, that we're watching online, it's a very quick fix, or it's a very quick way to satisfy that need.
Brainless, just watch Netflix. Is it like after a whole hard day of work, after thinking I want to watch Netflix and relax my brain, right? Walao, you still want me to go and think of the ending? Okay, I mean, of course you vote A or B, lah, right? So this is my own opinion. Very, very, very interesting. Now the next part is of course but true. What Netflix has right now is very huge distribution network. So people like Obama, Tony Robbins, or a lot of people, they want to actually tap on the network because you can reach out, you can actually send your message to Netflix very fast.
This was exactly the second point I wanted to make, which is the base. If you think about it, yes, who was it who said that, oh, other players can copy? Yes, they can copy the content, but number one, they will be behind Netflix, and number two, how long will it take for them to build 180 million subscribers base?
Right.
I think it is the numbers, it is the scale. So that's why if you look at it, only the biggest players like Amazon, Apple now trying to do Apple TV, Hulu, Disney Plus, only these big companies with already a very strong base are trying to break into this area. And what is, more and more competitors are entering this area. And what is it? It is a signal that they know that the future is going to be so bright. I better jump on the bandwagon now before I lose the pie that is going to grow even larger.
Great.
And I see so many possibilities. I was even sharing with Sean, hey, one day, who knows? Spotify and Netflix might even have an M&A or a JV. They might even merge. And why do I say that? It's because both of them are in the entertainment space, but they are not competing head on with each other. There are movies that I watch and I'm so intrigued. I mean, that I love the soundtrack so much that I then go into Spotify and download the album, right? I download the soundtrack. And if we think about it, they are so complementary in the sense that one is content watching, the other one is music, right? And in order to create content, let's say movies or original content, you need music, and there is like a song list, and I think there is so much that they can tap on each other, to produce something bigger. So who knows? Let's see. A lot to talk about M&A, but I don't think.
Probably
M&A
the
mergers
next
and
show.
acquisitions, but this is not the right time,
Yes.
further down the road. So, Sean, maybe you can share with us your thoughts on Netflix as an investable company. I mean, I went through its financials and all that. I also do have some questions for you, but this
Sure.
take us through
Okay, so
your-
this is my part about like being investable, right? Okay, so let's take a look at some numbers, but at the same time, I want you guys to think. Okay, maybe one question I'd like to ask myself is this: will you guys want to invest in Netflix? Felicia, what do you think? Do you think you want Netflix in your portfolio? Will they continue to make money? Because if you believe they will, that's where you can actually take a pie of it. What do you think so far in terms of Netflix?
Okay, and this is where I'm going to go into like the technicals already, because I was seeing I was seeing all the key ratios.
Right.
The business mode, we have talked about it, right? We see that, they're producing original content, which is great. They have 180 million subscribers, which is also very, very strong.
Right.
They have their data, customer data, and they have a proven track record over the past 22 years of how they have pivoted each time, beating the consumer's demand, and they're always ahead of the curve. So all this is great. The qualitative aspect we have already settled.
Right.
So if you're asking me whether this is investable or not, it is on my watch list, although it's not in tier one of my watch list. I have 3 different tiers of my watch list. Okay, so it's not in tier one. But if I look at it financials, and I think Sean,
we have it here. The revenue,
ROE.
crazy.
Sorry?
Oh, the ROE is it? Okay, you want to look at the ROE? You can, so I just highlight a few key ratios, right? The revenue increased from about 2 billion to 21 billion over 10 years. And you can see the earnings per share. Yes, there's some fluctuations here and there, but again, increased 10 times. And we can see like even the one thing to take note is the free cash flow. You see, it's very capital intensive. And it's very high expense. Reason being, they need to keep producing movies. Producing movies is not cheap. Now, so this is one place to highlight, but the ROE, you're talking about this portion, correct? Very, very profitable. Yeah, more than, it's double digit, 60%, 16%, 30%. This is the part you want to focus on.
No, I mean, I think you're in a better position, to bring us through the different indicators. But if I were to look at different things like let's say their gross margin, their net margins,
right,
their ROE, if I were to look at their growth, their CAGR for the past 5 to 10 years,
right,
it has been very strong, very, very strong double digit, although we see some fluctuations in between, right? So overall, if I look at it, from this broad lens of ROE, of net margins, of growth, of EPS, I would say that it's pretty strong, but there are areas that kind of raise a bit of that alerts me, right? One of them is the negative free cash flow, as you have said.
Yes.
The second one, and it's linked to this, is debt, right?
Yes.
We see debt of 2 times, and typically, we are saying that the rule of thumb is less than 0.5 or 0.5, right? So this is quadruple of the threshold. I see that some of the margins have been erected, and also the PE is very high, right? The PE is 120, 120, which means that it takes 120 years to break even for Netflix if we're going to buy them at this price. So what are your thoughts on all this?
Okay.
Or why not you just yeah, I think there are some people here, in viewing, who are also maybe pretty new to investing. So maybe you can take them through like some of the basic indicators that we normally look at.
Oh, yes. Okay, so I think great. We're looking at the revenue. Revenue is growing. The earnings per share, income is growing. The scary thing is the free cash flow. It's a very cash eating machine. Okay, they require a lot of cash to
Yeah.
function. This is one negative point. A very big negative point, actually. A very big
Can I
negative
say
point.
something?
Yeah.
While it is negative, right, it also shows us that it is difficult for a new player to enter because it is capital intensive. So if you think about it, the new players that are entering, Amazon, Disney, whatever, right?
Right.
If they go down this road, they are also going to burn equal amounts of cash unless they can find a new way of creating this content. And I think this is a double-edged sword.
Right.
While this free cash flow, I mean, yeah, it doesn't look so great, but it also means that it creates a higher barrier to entry for new competitors.
Right. Okay, so that is true. But I do, that's right. They need a lot of cash. But the thing is, the competitors that they are facing right now are people who, I mean, not people, are companies who has a lot of cash and much more than Netflix. So that's the part that I'm thinking of. Well, overall, based on financial indicators, they are growing very fast. You can see the latest earnings per share, 10 years average 30%, 5 years average 40%, 3 years average 100%. There is a suggestion that they are growing even faster. Now, the problem with Netflix is this. Now, let me share with you a few things that I have in mind. The earnings per share, like I think Felicia mentioned, right now, is considered cheaper than usual. It's about 80 P ratio of 80, which takes you 80 years to break even. Of course, there are many ways to look at it. One way to look at it is we have to take into consideration their amount of growth. So I'm going to use this other way of calculating called discounted cash flow. I have a video talking about discounted cash flow in my Facebook. You can go and take a look. But the whole
that video is very good.
The whole idea of discounted cash flow is we are projecting in the future how much money they'll be making, and then we collect all the money that we project that they'll be making together and calculate what they are worth right now. Even if you project them to grow at 20% per year for the next 10 years, okay, and after that they survive for another 10 years without growing, they are still very, very overvalued. The margin of safety is minus 200. Their fair value is about 100 plus. And what's their stock price now? Okay, I don't have their stock price. I think it's probably about, I don't know, 300-400 plus. So
their stock price now is
I think I have it here.
Flagging on mine.
Okay, so their stock price is again, we don't just look at stock price to know whether it's 415. So right now, based on discounted cash flow, they oh yeah, correct. The stock price is here, 400. They are 200% overvalued. Now, I want to share with you a few things. I do not even have the confidence to say that Netflix will be around 20 years later. Reason being, we have seen that the industry leader has changed so much. Will they be 20 years later? Can you actually make such an evaluation that they can continue to grow at 20% per year? The only way that you can say that Netflix is investable right now is if you believe they can grow at 42% for the next 10 years. If they can grow at 42% for the next 10 years, based on discounted cash flow, yes, they are of fair value. Their fair value is about 400 plus. But let me share with you something. Okay, I got a few concerns here. I will tell you guys, in my opinion, I don't think Netflix is investable. And of course, when Netflix price goes up, a lot of people will come and say, Sean, you are talking nonsense. Well, some people may win the lottery sometimes, but that doesn't mean that everybody can make money from lottery. Okay, what do I mean to say? If you expect Netflix to grow by 42%, let me show you the numbers right now. Right now, they have 180 over million subscribers, like Felicia mentioned. If you want them to grow at 42%, right, what it means is this. I project this forward. It means that by 10 years' time, they need 4.2 billion subscribers. Obviously, they can grow their income in many other ways, correct? But let's assume they don't increase their price, because price is a very sensitive thing right now. Many competitors are fighting based on price. 10 years later, can they have 4.2 billion paying subscribers? It may not be impossible. It may not be. But this is the kind of fit they have to. Okay, so this is my own opinion. And okay, by the way, the answer is my answer. There are very good investors who disagree with me and they are investing in Netflix. Who knows, Warren Buffett may buy Netflix next month. I do not know. Right now, this is based on prediction from Statista. They predict Netflix in 5 years' time to have 200 over million subscribers. Maybe it's a little bit too conservative, but this is the whole idea they have. And this is the current snapshot. Okay, it may not be the most accurate, but Disney is chasing up. They have 90 million subscribers and they are cheaper. They are much cheaper than Netflix. So I just want you to imagine. Take yourself as a consumer. Okay, and some of you are subscribers, correct? Some of you mentioned, think about it this way. I'm having Netflix. Why do you want Netflix? You want Netflix for entertainment. Will you continue to pay for Netflix if there's a cheaper alternative with equally good videos and it's like half the price? Disney Plus is at $6 or $7. Netflix is at $16. Okay, and let me share with you something. This is what. Okay, sorry, I'm very biased. Again, guys, I'm very biased. Okay, this is what.
Fan.
I'm a Disney fan, and when I say I'm a Disney fan, right, there's a certain reason behind that. I'm a Marvel fan. Okay, so this is what Disney has. Will they put all this into Disney Plus? We're not sure. They do have other entertainment group like National Geographic. They have things like 21st Century Fox or 20th Century Fox. Sorry, they have a Disney Music Group. They have Disney Studios. They have ESPN. They have ABC Television Network. How are you going to fight Disney in this? Okay, so I'm just thinking. Basically, I'm subscribing to Netflix because I want to actually occupy my free time and have a relaxing time to watch things on my TV, on my laptop. And if Disney can actually provide something similar at half the price or even cheaper, why would I actually stay with Netflix? Unless there's something that I will feel loyal to Netflix. But think about it. Why do you feel loyal to Netflix? It's the Netflix character that you feel loyal to. I cannot think of any. But Disney is very different. It's very different. There's Avengers character. There's like soccer and all that. For sports fan, if they pull in the big guns and actually bring this into Disney Plus, I got a huge feeling Netflix is not going to be able to fight them. I'm not too sure. Maybe both of them will survive, but it is going to be very tough. If I'm the boss of Netflix, it's not going to be an easy thing for me. I cannot shake my leg and think of making passive income. But for Disney, I feel that if you ask me to run Disney, not that I can run Disney, but I feel that I have a much higher chance of surviving. So this is my opinion. So my opinion, Netflix is not investable because I look at long term. I don't look at short term. So this is my point of view. What do you think, Felicia? Okay, I think I've maybe overpowered many people and really like psycho many people to say Netflix is not investable. If the price goes up, please don't blame me, but I'm not investing in Netflix.
Yeah. So thanks for sharing, Sean. I think just to pin a bit of context, Netflix to me is a pretty strong business, but it is not investable at its current price. That's the thing. Because price is the value that you are paying for the company, and both must be commensurate, right? It cannot be that this is the value that I think the company is, and then I'm paying the price like that, at a different level. So that is the context. So my thought is that at this juncture, with this current price, Netflix is not investable. But as a company itself, is it investable? Yes, because I think that at this point, 5 to 10 years, it is still going to be strong.
Right.
So for me, I'm also watching. I'm not invested in Netflix. I'm watching and see for
the valuation, right?
Seeing the valuation, because we always know, right? I mean, you don't want to be buying. I don't know if a pair of shoes, typically sells for $50 and then now they're selling for $100, you're not going to buy it, right? So that's my take.
This is the fair value. This is the fair value based on discounted cash flow. You can wait for Netflix to drop until $100 and that's where you can buy. But the issue is, if they drop until $100, means that something structural has changed. So I don't want to fight the market. I don't want to say that the market is wrong, but I'm not going to join them for Netflix. But for you believe in the business. It's just that it's not the right price. Cool.
Yes.
Okay, so let's wrap up with some developing countries won't pay a single cent. Oh yeah, sorry. One more additional point to add to Disney, right? If you all know about this company called Hulu, it belongs to Disney. One of the so-called biggest competitor of Netflix, Hulu, 69% belongs to Disney. So, okay, I'm biased again. So that's what I want to say.
No, but
Business-wise,
definitely, I think for me,
yeah,
no, for me personally, if I were to compare investing in Netflix and Disney, definitely Disney, right? Whatever's happening in COVID, it's only temporal. But I think Disney is really heading the right way. It has such a strong history, and I think in Sean's terms, the characters that never die, that live forever, right? And then now they are going into Disney Plus, So I mean, if we are putting side by side these two companies and thinking about what is investable, I think hands down it is Disney, especially if you look at the price.
You're being influenced by me already, Felicia. No, I'm just kidding.
Sorry?
I'm just kidding.
Sorry?
Are you being influenced by me already? Okay. One more
No.
thing. One more thing to take note, right? Actually, a lot of videos, a lot of shows that Netflix has is being taken out. So a lot of the Disney shows you're not able to watch.
Yeah.
HBO shows, Friends.
Yeah.
Friends. One of the very long-lasting series is going to be taken out. Many of the shows are going to be taken out. If you're Netflix, but one thing that we can never predict is what will Reed Hastings do next. This guy is a genius. He can see things that nobody can ever see until it happened. So that's very interesting, right?
Cool.
Yes, Disney is investable in my opinion because people ask me that. Okay, so let's summarize to the page. Summarize
maybe before we show them this, can we go to the previous slide? Yeah, guys, can you just type in the chat what have you learned today? The single most important point that has struck you today.
Right. So what do you learn? Can you just share one of the key lessons besides the fact that Felicia and Sean is very, very brilliant and smart and things like that? Okay. So what else do you learn? So very interesting, and also tell us what kind of businesses you want us to analyze. Every business, there's always a story behind. There's always things to actually look out for. It's so interesting. Cool. So what other businesses?
What's running in the chat? Sorry, it's not showing on mine. So
right. So they are laughing, ha ha ha. So okay, I mean, they fall in love with the numbers, not the business. They are asking whether Disney is investable. They are saying that Hulu is massive in PRC. Okay, so this actually shows a big penetration point in Disney again. I'm sorry. Ask Netflix boss to tweak. Netflix price is too high. Haha. Okay, vision is okay. So some of the lessons. Vision is very important. Okay, for those who just tune in, you can rewatch this whole thing. It will be on Facebook Live here on my page and also on Felicia's profile. So please follow Felicia as well. Okay, winner keep winning like Sean. Okay, is this the lesson you're learning? Okay, think long term. Think of the long term potential by Jonas. Hey, hi Jonas. Well, long time no see. So these are some of the things that they are talking about. Yeah, and importance of business model. Yes, we are going to talk a lot more about the business model. And also the whole entire thing starts with the vision. The vision is very important, right? They want to hear things about Adobe. Okay, one thing they learn is to follow Sean Xia, follow Felicia. Okay, great. So no, actually follow to actually learn and develop your own ideas, right?
Okay, so
right. Sure.
Yeah, great. So thanks for responding on the chat. Maybe we can just go to the last slide that we have, right? So I think from today, if you are already a business owner or if you are aspiring to start a business, I think three very key things that you have to ask yourself. Just like how Netflix started with solving a pain point, I want to ask you, what is the pain point that you are solving, or what is the value that you are delivering, right? The second is this what your target audience really wants? Is this what you really understand of your consumer? And the third, as we saw, that Netflix pivoted time and time again, 3 times, right, in 14 years. So don't be afraid to cannibalize your own business. If you were to take an outside-in perspective of where you are today, what competitors are doing, what is the next thing that someone can just come in and just swoop off your market share? If let's say you can think of that thing, I think it's time for you to take action. So just crystallizing 3 points that I hope that you take away from this.
Well, thank you so much, Felicia. And they have a lot of suggestions for us. Adobe, Viva Systems, and Salesforce. Give us a lot of great ideas to talk about next week.
Awesome.
Yeah, and next week we're going to talk about some of the businesses that you guys are actually talking here. And great. I hope that you guys have enjoyed yourself. Did you all learn something? If you learned something, please type great or good and share with us what you think about this particular show called Pivot. And we will be seeing you guys more every single week on Saturday. And after circuit breaker, the time may change. but we will be actually discussing more about business and learning a lot more about business strategies from Felicia, and for myself, I'll be talking about whether this company is investable. So thanks a lot, Felicia. I hope you have a great weekend. And next week we will be talking about let's that's the cliffhanger. That's the cliffhanger.
It's a mystery. We will leave it as a mystery. But hey, to all the folks who are tuning in, I just want to say thank you for staying tuned with us, and I really hope that you are learning. I'm super excited for what's ahead. Because I think Sean has great experience, in setting up his own business, and of course he's a super astute investor. And for myself, I can really share with you guys how I look at a business through my years of experience being in multi-billion-dollar companies, and being able to dissect all these different strategies so that you have a good understanding of how you can understand the qualitative aspect and the strategies of a company, and also looking at the quantitative aspect and whether it's investable. So, Sean, thank you so much for this privilege also to be doing this series. Really looking forward to what's ahead.
We'll see you guys next week. Well, they want us to talk about Tesla, quite a number of things. Hey, do us a favor. If you all enjoy this show, please help us share this whole particular post so that more people will get notified. We will put a notification on when will be the show, but typically we are doing it Saturday at 1 p.m. right now. Cool. So thank you so much. We'll see you guys next week. Help us share this, comment on this, and help us like. Okay, thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
And
Take
see
care.
you guys.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye. Bye.